today I would like to share some of the informations which are pertaining to the student community, especially for the young researchers and the researchers I think who are going to enter into the field of the research, real research, after completing their doctoral degrees. And so this will be important topic for our discussion today on the research funding agencies and opportunities. So we all know that our students have been working 26 hours, borrowing 2 hours from the next day, and they used to put the whole energy and body energy to the research, and then in the laboratories mostly, and some will do in the field also pertaining to the sociology, humanities, and then arts, etc. Collecting the data, primary data, secondary data, and so on. Altogether, we used to work both in the field, off field, and on field, related to the collection of the innovations and the inventions in the scientific arena. And I think many of you, I think we are not yet known what are the funding sources available in India and abroad, especially for entering into the research, the career. So my topic will confine to the research funding agencies, what are available in national and international level, and what are the opportunities available to our young researchers who are going to enter into the research field. So I think to introduce the research, I think the research funding is most important. When we discussed with the new education policy, and many of the frontier, the peers of the scientists, they have focused that we are having the research, the ability, and then we have all the courage and then enthusiasm to conduct the research, but only the lacuna and the constraint is the funding, is the I think is the output they have given during the interaction with the Dr. Kasturi Rangan committee, and it has been mentioned in the NEP 2020. So in that, so what we are looking for that, how to, fund the resource. We know, of course, we have, but funding resources are the money that is most important for carrying out the research in terms of the research funding. Come to the picture of the scientific workforce, why the new NEP has given thrust to for the funding and other resources. That means the scientific workforce in India compared to the countries leading to the research, that is in the researchers, that means researchers available per 10,000 workforce, I think compared to other countries, the developed countries, India is less. Out of 10,000 in the unit, we have only four, Kenya 6, and then Chile 7, Brazil 14, China 18, Russia 58, and United Kingdom 79, and then United States also the similarly 79. So these are the scientific workforce in India in terms of the workforce from 10,000 in the unit section. So come to the picture of the domestic and foreign, the patent applications out of the research, either in the publication or should be in a patent. Our researchers, I think many of them would like to have a publication after inventing something, after discovering something, and many of would like to, I think, publish in terms of a patent in the IPR. And here the comparison to other again with the other countries is South Korea has the maximum in terms of the patent application filing per 1 million people, and then you could see that the maximum is 4,451 in South Korea, and compared to Japan, Germany, United Kingdom, and so on. India, I think, out of the 1 million people, we are only very less, that too, only 17 patent application filed per year per 1 million people. So this is the status of the current in terms of the workforce of the research, and then also the domestic and foreign. patent applications filed per 1 million people. So altogether, the research status in India compared to the global statistics, the R&D personalized per million people, I think the Ireland is the first. They have given the maximum thrust to the research, the 10,000, and compared to India, we have very very less. We have only 366 only when compared to other developed countries. So the global statistics telling that the research aptitude and the culture is less. That's why we used to have always a concern over the our research. The aptitude in our Indian scenario. Even I am sorry to say that out of the top 200 universities in the global level, so none of the universities are coming forward to have the arena of the in high in position. So except one or two, that is Indian Institute of Science and then IITs, except those, and then many of the universities are still, I think we are lacking of the research in terms of the global levels. So what is the contribution in terms of the GDP and the GDP investment in the research and innovation in the current time compared to other countries? For example, the South Korea is in tune with the patent, etc. They have the maximum GDP, that is 4.2%, Israel 4.3%, and then United States of America 2.8%, and India we have 0.69%, which is very very negligible, even insignificant in terms of the GDP investment in terms of the research and innovation. So realizing all this situation, Dr. Kasturi Rangan committee newly formed, and then they have submitted the new education policy 2020. They were given the many, as I mentioned, the visions, and then also the changes what they wanted to make it, especially for the research. One of the main component or the thrust they've given for the changes in the current system of the higher education in the new NUP is establishment of a national research foundation. I think they are going to make it through the National Research Foundation, and this will give a overall a funding and a domain for especially to review the research and mainly to involve active research. And this foundation, this National Research Foundation, similar to other foundations or other funding agencies currently we have, and they are giving to seed money to the research to our universities and colleges. So that was one of the new policy, the decision they taken in the introduction soon for the especially for the research. So the National Research Foundation is the main domain they are going to have in reality in the coming years, and through that we are going to get the miracle in India through the various funding resources for the young researchers. But altogether, what they focus, there are two types of the universities. One, the definition of the university is to, especially for the teaching. Earlier, we used to give only for the teaching, and some of the universities submitting, they will allocate something for the research, either 50-50 or 75-25 or fully 100% for the teaching. I think the new NEP, they given what they focus is the research intensive universities. So thrust and focus is given more orient toward the research intensive universities. Those takes place greater emphasis on research, and then I think they mentioned that to conduct the significant research, so active research, so they focus more on the active research for that. So similarly, they are going to have more, I think, funding resources for the carry out of the research and making it a research exclusive research based universities in the Indian subcontinent. So these are the new education policy focus they given, and they are giving more focus for the research. So now next thing, as per the topic they were, okay, what we have currently, what we have the currently in that before, I think going to implement our new education policy 2020 for carrying out the exclusive research on that. But currently, what are the research grants and what are the national funding agencies available in India and then abroad. So I think my topic is confined to the mostly on the introduction, what are the various funding agencies, and so what are the types of funding and the funding schemes what are available in India. I think this will be more useful to our young researchers, and they I think know they must know that currently what are the funding agencies, what are the funding resources available to carry out the research in science, technology, arts, humanities, and then including the computer networking and then the other allied sciences. So what are the national funding agencies available and to carry out the research? I think through that we have a international travel grant for our research, and then currently we have the major research projects and then collaborative research projects and funding for attending the Nobel laureate lectures meeting elsewhere in the country and then outside the country, and then fund for the social and family welfare schemes, and then we have the MODROP schemes, and then FIST programs, and then industry collaboration. Some of the general categories of the research are mainly to the our young researchers. Next, we will see one by one what are the funding agencies. See, there are enormous the funding agencies are available in India with respect to the various programs, with respect to the various discipline, with respect to the various subjects in the science, technology, including arts, science, and the humanities. So number one is the All India Council for Technical Education, we called as AICTE for the technical education. And then we have for the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, and then Defense Research Development Organization, and then a fundamental research for the defense research, and then also the application oriented through the DRDO, the funding agency. And then we have exclusive for the atomic energy, Department of Atomic Energy, a funding agency, DAE, is available in India. And then Department of Ayurveda, Yoga and Naturopathy, Unani, Siddha and Homeopathy, we call us in short form Ayush, under the Ministry of the Medical, the health aspects. And then we have a Department of Biotechnology under the aegis of the Science and Technology. And we have the Department of Coal related to the coal research and then minings, etc. And then we have the Ministry of Earth Sciences to study about the geology of the earth. And we have the Department of Science and Technology, I think, which is related to the broader category of the science and research and technology. And then Department of Science and Industrial Research, more towards the industrial research, and then involving the industry institution linkages. And then we have exclusive for the medical research, ICMR, and then Indian, the meteorological department, which is related to the climatology and then climate change studies and all. And then we have the advanced research, the funding agencies like Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, in Bangalore, and then Ministry of Communications, Ministry of Communication, Information Technology, related to the engineering and technology and communication technology. We have the Department of Information Technology related to the computer and then the electronics. And then also for we have the funding agency for the Ministry of Environment and Forest, we call the MOEF, related to the environment, forest and climate change. Now there has been changed, one more addition here, the climate change. And then Ministry of Food Processing Industries, and related to the food processing and then the food security, etc. And then we have exclusively for the energy security, we have the Ministry of New and Renewable, the Energy Funding Agency. And then we have the Conventional Power and Power Research Institute. We have and then related to the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment for the arts, humanities, the other disciplines are in the research funding. Then we have also the Ministry of Water Resources, and then Petroleum Conservation Research Association, and also we have in general to the university and colleges, we have University Grant Commission for carrying out the fundamental application oriented basic research in the colleges and universities, in general higher education institutions. So now we will see one by one. Number one is the All India Council for Technical Education, AICTE, mainly for the research and institutional development schemes, and then modernization of the removal of the old equipments, and then what are the facilities available, renovation, mainly to modernize and renovate the existing the engineering, and then also the technology oriented laboratories. And then we have also through the AICTE research promotion schemes, they are funding and to the engineering colleges, engineering universities, and also some of the technical institutions. And then they have the national coordinated projects combining one or two partners and taking one theme of the research and carry out by the many partners through the coordination of a single area. And then we have the national facilities in engineering and technology with industrial collaboration, mainly to solve the issues related to the industry, and then the need of the industry growth, and they are facilitating through the All India Council for the Technical Education. So all the partners, and then also we have the exclusive the industry institute partnership cell also available. So these are the various the funding schemes and the broader area available in the All India Council for Technical Education, the funding agency. And in addition to that, to promote the entrepreneurship, apart from the industry institution linkage, and they are promoting the entrepreneurs and those who want to have the entrepreneurship skills development, and they are providing the IASCT is providing funding to develop the entrepreneurship development cell, and through that cell they are giving promotion for the entrepreneurship small schemes or the small the development skills, and then skill oriented the projects. And then also they are giving awareness linking the banks, and then also the small the entrepreneurs. And then they have the postgraduate scholarship scheme, the travel grant they are giving to go within the country. The young researchers, they can go ahead through the funding source of the travel grant from the AICT to abroad, and then also to the Indian the institutions. They are giving the seminar grant to organize the conferences, symposia, seminar, and etc. They are giving the seed money for the seminars. And then staff development program, SDP, we call as the staff for development, or the FDP, we call it the faculty development program for the new beginners or the new the joiners of the engineering and then university and the technical university colleges. They have also for the elderly people, they have the emeritus, the fellowship. Once after the service in the university or colleges, they can also go ahead for their expertise to use for the younger generation. They have the emeritus fellowship for the elderly people. And then also we have the national doctoral fellowship, NDF, either for doing the pre-doctoral or the postdoctoral program. It's all the schemes available under the AICTE. Next is the CSIR. CSIR is the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research Program, and I think mainly the program is for the leadership among the youth in science, to develop the youth involvement in the leadership of the science they are promoting. So they have, I think, junior research fellowship, the JRF, and then senior research fellowship, SRF, and then research associateship, and then senior research associateship, and then emeritus scientistship for the elderly people. So these are the beginning of the various the funding the agencies available. So once the juniors, I mean the young researchers, can qualify for the NET or the any other qualifying examination, you can get the JRF and you can do your independent research, choosing your guide in choosing your universities and colleges, and then you can do you can pursue your PhD program in the higher education institutions, either in the laboratories or the advanced laboratories or IITs, wherever you would like to have your program, your thrust area, your expertise you want to develop in the research. So, and then also the senior research fellowship, and then couple of years after your JRF, you can get it. And after completing your PhD, you can, I think if you want to continue your research in the same area, or you want to have a further proliferation of your research area, you can go ahead for the research associate they are giving. So a lot of the money, I think now, I think almost the JRF, SRF, and then RA fellowships are almost very equal to the salary of the assistant professor under the UGC schemes. So then we have the senior research fellowships also. So these are the various funding agencies. CSIR, they are funding for the young researchers mainly to develop the youth for the involvement of the research. Next, the funding agency is the ICMR, the Medical Research, Indian Council for Medical Research. So similarly, like the CSIR, they have the short-term visiting fellowships, 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months, 8 months. They have the short-term fellowships. Suppose you want to go for the higher level of the research, and then ad hoc research scheme research fellowships are available similar to the CSIR, and then they have also the junior research fellow. I think this is one of the options they are giving for the medical oriented research, mainly to improve the status of the research in the medical oriented, either of the schemes in the Ayush, etc. And then they are also giving the elderly people the emeritus medical scientist scheme, and centers for the advanced research, the task force projects they are giving, and the new scheme for the medical innovation fund. Like very recently, for the corona research, those who, I think, inventing or discovering or delivering the drug for the corona or the vaccine for the corona, I think Honorable Prime Minister announced that through this scheme, and anyone who can contribute for the development of the drug or the vaccine, they will be awarded through this ICMR scheme they have given. And then many scientists, they got the funding through this ICMR funding agency for the research into the drug delivery system. And then similar to the infectious, the diseases, etc., they are funding through the medical innovation fund. Then we have also the student science and the technology, the program project. So here the various the the development schemes are available through the department, agency, university, and deemed universities will be benefited, and they will be eligible for this type of the student science and technology SCI tech project, and their funding. So I think they are giving a lot of money for the project to do the basic and fundamental research. And one of the biggest, and then it's covering all the higher education institutions, is the funding through the UGC, University Grants Commission. And main they are giving is the travel grant scheme for the college teachers, and then for the vice chancellors, and then commission members. So they are giving the travel grant to visit either India or abroad for attending many of the programs related to the scientific research, and then also for the awareness programs. And then they have the research funding council for awarding the major and minor research projects, and during and then the recent plan they started from the 10th plan onwards. So the major research projects will be awarded in science, engineering, technology, medical, pharmacy, agriculture, and then including science, arts, humanities, and etc. I think they starts from the 12 lakhs to maximum 20 lakhs they are giving. And then minor research projects also, those who are not having the PhD program are not having the PhD qualification, they can enter into the basic research for want of doing the PhD. They can opt for this type of the minor research projects. This funding can be utilized both for the research and then also for the career upgradation to do the PhD, and minimum the 10 lakhs they are giving. So this is a 1 lakh to 3 lakhs they are giving. So a lot of funding agencies are available, resources are available, programs are available under the aegis of the University Grants Commission. And then also they are funding for the workshops, seminars, symposia, conferences. They are also giving for organizing the state, and national level organization, and organizing the conferences. And then they are also funding for both for attending and then also for organizing the international conferences. So the seeding of every step for organizing and then attending and then organizing international, they have the ceiling for the every part of the regional, state, national, international level of the workshop. Only thing we have to apply in proper application to the funding agencies like UGC and well in advance. Normally, they used to receive the application well in advance, almost 3 months before the commencement of the any program they used to consider for that. So, in addition to that, UGC is considering for the different types of the funding, one exclusively for the university, and one exclusive scheme for the colleges, and then one exclusive for the department of the university, and then for both for university and colleges, and then also for the individual. So what they are funding for the university is for the general development. I think general development, it means DRS, SAP, and then various assisted programs they are giving. In addition to that, they have the merged schemes. I think during the 10th plan, I mean 9th plan, they started the merged schemes, a lot of schemes, including for the development of the students. And then for preparation of the net set examination, they have the coaching center, and they have the coaching center for the civil service examination. And similarly, they have the cell for the women. So similar way, a lot of the merged schemes they have sanctioned through the UGC, and which is mainly for the university. In addition to the travel grant, as I mentioned, to organize the seminars, workshops, conferences, and short-term courses. And then not only that, suppose if you want to have a publication, to publish books or to edit books, to author books, they are funding. So a lot of special grants are available for universities and for exclusive for the rural areas, backward areas, remote areas, border areas, and inclusive of the northeastern states. So in the UGC, they have the special programs for the northeast states also, for the development of the science and technology in through the universities under the aegis of the University Grants Commission, UGC. And then we have the common schemes for both universities and colleges, and then the guidelines for the human rights and values of in the education they have, and then guidelines for setting up the media centers like the EMRC centers, educational media research centers, and then audio visual research centers, and then the guidelines for the lifelong learning and extension centers, e-content development. And then very recently they have developed the SWAM, and then a lot of the new schemes for the through the online mode, and then the modules development they are funding, and then guidelines for the establishment of the internal quality assurance cell, the IQAC for the assessment and accreditation of the NAC, and then also the NBA, and then also for the NARF. So I think they are promoting the ranking accreditation process also, and how to establish the IQAC cells they are funding. So these are the funding resources available for both for universities, colleges through the UGC. In addition to the young researchers, you can get the research awards. A lot of research awards are available in the UGC schemes. The only thing, you have to go to the website and you can see that a lot of awards are available, and then every year it has been awarding for young researchers. Starts from the young scientist to the senior scientist, awards are plenty. And then emeritus fellowships, travel grant for the colleges, teachers, college librarians, commission members, and UGC officers. So in addition to that, they have a special for this. This is most important for our young researchers. We have Indira Gandhi scholarship scheme for single girl child. Suppose a single girl is pursuing the higher education. So you can, suppose if you can apply for this scheme, you are eligible to get the grant for every month. So this is called Indira Gandhi scholarship scheme for single girl child to the citizen of the India for pursuing postgraduate postgraduate studies. And then we have also the postgraduate merit scholarship scheme for the university. Suppose you got the first rank in the university or first rank in your department, you are eligible to get the courses, undergo the courses both in the UG and PG. And then you have the research fellowships in the science and the for the meritorious students. And then we have a Gotari Fellowship. This is most important for the young researchers after completing your PhD program. There is a postdoctoral fellowship available under the head of the Dr. D.S. Kotari Fellowship. You can do the postdoctoral research in medical engineering sciences. So this is available, and then only the here the problem is you cannot pursue the research in your same university. You have to choose the another university for the program of the postdoctoral since you have done your PhD program in the same university. So it will not be considered for pursuing the PhD postdoctoral program in the same institutes where you conducted the your PhD program. And then research projects for teachers through the major and minor. And then also we have Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan postdoctoral fellowships in humanities for the available, and then for the social sciences. So this is general to the arts, science and humanities students. After completing your PhD program, you can go ahead for the postdoctoral research under the Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan postdoctoral fellowship in the UGC, similar to the Kotari fellowship available for the science and engineering students. So these are the various options available for after completing the your doctoral degree. You can have a variety of the funding sources for pursuing or to continue your postdoctoral program or the after the your PhD program. Next is the DST, Department of Science and Technology. So this deals mainly for the scientific and engineering research technology, the development. So here the science and technology and socio-economic development program is available under the DST scheme, funding agency. We have the Women Scientist program. I think this is lot of so resources are the funding source available for the women young researchers. After you are completing PhD, you can write a proposal to the DST, and through this scheme, Women Scientist scheme, you can get the funding till 40 years, till your age of 40. You can get a project, and through that you can do wonderful research in any of the universities. And then we have the technology missions into the scheme, and then programs for the project support, and then you have the intensification of the research in high priority areas like the nano research or the climate change or nanotechnology or any of the new sciences area you can do in science and engineering, like as I mentioned, Nanoscience Technology Initiative, and then you have also the Ramanujan Fellowship. I think these fellowships are available to the postdoctoral students either from our own country or I think after completing the postdoctoral from foreign countries, you can return to India and then you can pursue this degree, the fellowship through the Ramanujan, the postdoctoral fellowship, and then we have the JC Bose, the National Fellowship, and Ramana Fellowship. So lot of fellowships are available following your PhD program. You can do wonderful research available. Plenty of resources are available in the DST. And in addition to that, lot of the schemes available, I think, for the analytical instrument facilities. Suppose if you want to have equipment, a modern equipment you can apply for the DST. They will fund you for advanced laser, and then the scanners, I think advanced scanners, and then analytical instruments. Anything you can get it through the funding from the DST. And then the Swarna Jayanti Fellowship, and then young scientist past fellowships are available. And then the young scientist available areas, the Boy Scout scheme, and then women scientist programs, as I mentioned, and then Kishore Vigyan, the Prasthan Yojana Award, and then international travel grant. I think they are giving, I think, full support to visit foreign countries, to attend and to participate and present your papers in the international conferences. Only thing you need required is the approval from your international the organization for the research paper submission. So once you have that, I think you can participate through the funding from the DST. And then in addition to that, for organizing the seminars, symposia, and they have the Earth System Service Science also, Earth Science also, mathematical science, and then scientific expertise retired users. They can also have it for the seniors, and then support for participation of the Indian scientists abroad for attending the international events, anything related to the short term, long term, etc. And then seismicity program, earthquake, landslides program, and then circ visiting fellowship. So I think through the DST you can have a variety of the options to go for the your option here. And then in addition to that, their major research grants. So research grants are R&D projects are available every year. They have been focusing for the new area of research. They called as in quote thrust areas. I think the DST, DPT, they used to mention about the thrust areas for the research starts from the fundamental of the DPT, biotechnology, and then to application oriented research they used to fund. And the fund agency is called the Department of Biotechnology under the Government of India. The address is mentioned here, Department of Biotechnology, CGO Complex, Lodi Road. I think the website is dptindia.nic in. I think if you go there, you can see a variety of the schemes available. You can visit, and applications received all the year. Applications received all the year for carrying out the research projects, and maximum they will give 3 years. And then some of the unique projects having application oriented, they used to consider for sometimes 5 years also. And they are getting, they are funding for equipment, consumables, contingencies, overheads, staff, and travel, which are all required for the research projects. And then we have the biotechnology based program for the rural development. So rural development, I think rural development program also available through the biotechnology. Any biotechnology intervention or any biotechnology tool applied oriented rural development things, if you have in your mind, you can apply as a project, and the same funding agency they are funding. Again, the applications are received all over the year, and you can very well visit to dptindia.nic, and similar way they support for all the equipments, consumables, overheads, etc., you required for carrying out your the research. And then related to the bioinformatics, and this will be for the communication engineering students, the postdoctoral students, or the completed students, or the faculties who are working in the colleges and universities, having exposure of the your bioinformatics, you are eligible to that. And then applications are received for funding all over year, throughout the year, and the schemes are for available for 3 years. And again, the support is for all the consumable contingencies, including you can buy for the softwares, buy for the computers, peripherals, networking facilities, everything you can get it through the R&D projects in the bioinformatics. So these are the DPT projects. And then we have the Indian Council of Agriculture Research. Suppose anyone wanted to do the agriculture research, I think ICAR is available, and here mainly for agricultural production, the theme oriented to, the focus oriented to ultimately to increase the productivity of the agriculture, and then animal husbandry and fisheries. So these are the area, the broader area considered starts from the fundamental research to applied research in related to the crop production. They are funding through the Indian Council of Agriculture Research. Again, you can go to the ICR website. You can have the variety of the program, and here also they are funding throughout the year, and then advertising throughout the year in the notification through the website, and then also they're leading the newspapers. And then the schemes may be involved to work on the, as I mentioned, from the fundamental to the applied aspects of the subjects related to the agriculture. And then not only the terrestrial, and also we have the ocean development. There is a separate ministry called the Department of Ocean Development. We call it the DOD. They are funding the schemes for the development to study the physical and chemical related to the aspects of the oceanography, ocean engineering, marine ecology, marine meteorology, marine instrumentation. So these are the broader area, and they are giving assistance to the carry out projects or research in the AGS of the Department of Ocean Development, exclusively in the marine ecosystem. And then we have a Swarna Jayanti Fellowship, and this through this, and mainly through the Department of Science and Technology, they have the option for that, and this will be for maximum 5 years. 5 years they are giving the fellowship, and then starts from the 25,000. Now they are revised almost very equal to the amount of the assistant professor in the UGC scale they are giving. So mainly to develop the research in the science and engineering under the Department of Science and Technology, which is called as a Swarna Jayanti Fellowship for the young researchers. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we have the JC Bose National Fellowships under the same National Department of Science and Technology, and applications are accepted throughout the year. Here, you can utilize this fund for maximum 5 years as the your fellowship, a stipend they are giving, and also they are giving a stipend in terms of their a contingency also they are giving maximum 5 lakhs per year to carry out the research for the fellowships, a scheme available in the Department of Science and Technology. And then Ramanna Fellowships, and it is available under the same Department of Science and Technology, and applications are in every year, and stipend is giving plus a research fellowship, something like a postdoctoral workers who can enter into the science and engineering, etc. And in addition to that, the Tata Innovation Fellowship, Tata has given a given corpus fund to the Department of Biotechnology to carry out the research in the biotechnology and other allied support. And the fellowship starts from the equal to the assistant professor cadre per month, in addition to the regulatory the salary from the host institute. So one way you can get the salary from your assistant professor work in a college or university, plus you can get the Tata Innovation Fellowship, and this is very prestigious fellowship. A grant from 5 lakhs to maximum, I think 10 lakhs you can get for, I think you can do for the research, and utilize this fund for the including your the national international travel, engaging manpower and other contingency for carrying out the research. And then we have the SERC program, SERC program, we called as the Science and Engineering Research Council under the Department of Science and Technology, which is available. Anyone want to do the research in the SERC program in the basic sciences, you can very well visit the dst.gov.in or the SERC.htm. You can visit, and applications are invited throughout the year. The funding is for the 3 years, and this will be support for the equipment, consumables, and travel. And this will be very open for the young researchers who can do after your PhD program. And then come to the medical oriented research, we call it Ayush. In the Ayush, you have the National Medical Plans Board. So variety of the medicinal plants, more than 8,000 medicinal plants are available in Indian subcontinent. You can do any type of the research in the medicinal plants for development of a drug, phytodrug, and then nano formulation. And through the Ayush, they are funding for variety of the program for the development of the drug in related to the Unani medicine, Ayurveda medicine, Siddha medicine, yoga, naturopathy. And in addition to that, we have a separate institute on Ayurveda and Unani medicine under the aegis of the Ayush. So this is open to anyone. You can do even fundamental applied aspects of the research you can carry out through the Ayush ministry under the medical research. And then we have the separate program for the humanities. Humanities, that means arts, humanities, social sciences, and political science. Anyone you can have a improvement of the program. We call this the HOGIS program. And through that program, I think it's open for only for the arts, humanities, the disciplined people, and new teaching methodology you can develop, and interdisciplinary approach for teaching, and then audio visual, and then other teaching aids you can develop, improvement of the study habits, skill oriented programs, journalistic styles and languages, creative writing, book review, preparatory courses, examination. I think they are funding from starts from the 5 lakhs, depends upon your value of your proposal. Through the college humanities and social science improvement program, they are funding exclusively for the other than the science and engineering discipline scholars. In addition, we have the Ministry of Welfare, and a lot of the science and technology programs are available for the mission mode approach. They are giving to the non-science and engineering, scholars, non-science and engineering, the faculties, those who have the political science, sociology, and then economics, any type of the discipline, the students, you can opt for that, including education. So how the development of the skill to be developed, and enhancement of the opportunity for employment, easier living, mobility, communication, recreation, and integration. Mainly, how the socially relevant projects can be developed through the Minister of Welfare projects available, and again starts from 5 lakhs, 5 lakhs per year, or sometimes depends on that the scheme they are funding maximum 20 lakhs to a scholar who have been actively engaging in this type of the welfare related projects under the Ministry of Welfare Ministry. And then in addition to that, we have the non-governmental organizations, NGOs. So in addition to government agencies like what I meant, UGC, DST, DPT, CSIR, and then Minister of Coal, etc., etc., we have the non-governmental NGOs also. I say again, is a plenty in India. They are funding for what, writing of the books, and then they are giving for the small grants for carry out the research. And then variety of the agencies are available, organizations are available, including the business communities. I think they are giving, for example, the Ara Food Company, the Bombay Naturalistic Society, they are giving, and then Janagiri, JRD, Datta, Modi Charitable Trust, the New Horizon Sugar Mills, then Oil and Natural Commission Corporation, Sri Arabindo Action, Sri Arabindo Memorial Fund, and then Torabji Datta Trust, Ratan Datta Trust, Tata Energy Research Institute. So a lot of the non-governmental organization and business firms are available for funding to carry out the research relevant to the development of the society. Relevant to development of the society, they are funding. And then in addition to that, very recently, DST is giving a new programs on the infrastructure in the science and technology called the FEAST. So these FEAST programs are available. Many universities are utilizing these programs based on the outputs, of the departments of the schools, or the collective collaborative departments. You can apply for this FEAST programs, and mainly to develop the PG programs. The PG programs in the universities and colleges, they are funding. And then we have another one is called the TIFA Core, the technology infusion projects involving the industries. Many colleges and universities, including technology universities, they are utilizing this special course called the TIFA Core projects. And this was the birth and the innovation of the late President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So he is the one who introduced the TIFA Core, the technology in the DST. In addition to that, science and society related projects are available, and this is again open for all disciplines, And then very recently, during this pandemic period, and realizing all the situations without having the book reading of the habitat, and I think now the UGC has introduced the new schemes for the e-content, the electronic mode of the development of your subject area development, any area, whether it is science, engineering, technology, arts, humanities, computer science, etc. And you can develop the e-content, modules of the subjects you can develop. I think for that also they are funding for that very recently. Anyone you wanted to go for deeper to develop this type of the UGC new schemes, especially for the e-content develop, you can very well visit the UGC org, CEC-UGC org, and they have the funding. So these are all the general schemes and lot of fellowships. So fellowships are available for the young researchers, including the service candidates who are serving in the universities and colleges through various fellowships. Various fellowships are available. I think Commonwealth fellowships. I think the Commonwealth countries, they through the Commonwealth program, they constituted the Commonwealth fellowships. You can visit the all the Commonwealth countries for pursuing advanced research. And then we have the Fulbright fellowships through the USA, and then UGC visiting fellowships, and then you have the INSA visiting fellowship. You have the Boy Scout Young Scientist fellowship, and then you have the DST cultural exchange programs visiting to the many countries, Japan, Hungary, Italy, and then Europe, many Europe countries. So these are the some of the special fellowships are available. I think you can choose this. If you, I think just you can type this fellowship. I think you will get enormous information, and through that you can apply. You can go abroad, and then you have a updated information working in the laboratories or the departments, and then you can come over here and develop the India the vision. And then we have the very, in addition to the national agencies, we have also the international funding agencies. International funding agencies are, and again they are funding based on our proposal, based on our theme, based on our objectives, what we are going to do in our research. I think European Economic Community, we call the EEC, they are funding WHO, World Health Organization, WMO, FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, UNICEF, UNDP, United Nations Environment for UNEP, and then UNEPSA, UNESCO, Earthwatch, Massachusetts, National Science Foundation, bilateral science technology programs with Japan, France, Germany, Australia, etc., etc. And these are the variety of the international funding agencies are available for the benefit of the Indian scholars. Scholars, it means those who want to do the further research, either in India or bilaterally, or you can have a partner with the other countries. You can do a collaborative research in India and abroad. I think the scope is widen and widen for the young scientists who can do for the research, obtaining a huge amount of funding from the international resources. And mere one thing is you can type it in the Google. You can get a lot of information about all these agencies. And then also we have the European Commission, we have the Indian Canadian Environment Facility, we have the Hunger Campaign, United Centers for the Human Settlements for the Humanities Science of the faculties, and then United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, UNESCO. So lot of the foreign agencies and government organizations are available. In addition to that, many countries, they have their own mission and then funding resource available in Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Germany, Dutch, and then German, and then also to the various countries. So variety of the governmental organizations, they are funding for our research to our Indian the scholars. So in addition to that, many the foreign agencies, many foreign embassy, foreign embassies, foreign high commission situated in India, also they are funding. But only thing, every year they used to change the focus, they used to change the trust area for the benefit of the India and the other country bilateral way. They used to advertise in the websites of their own the embassy and the high commission. See, even now you can visit Japan, Netherlands, New Zealand, Spain, Switzerland, UK, USA. All the embassies and high commission, they are funding to India. and lot, even including the Ford Foundation. Ford Foundation, and they are funding to Indian researchers. Any type of here, there is no the program. There is no spec. I mean, a specific program. Any program in science, engineering, arts, science, humanities, social sciences. I think you can go ahead for that, and they are giving funding for the research in various the trust areas in subjects. And then we have the Commonwealth facilities also, as I mentioned. Fellowships are available for that. Even one program is exclusive for the women. So the girls, students, girls scholars, I think they can share the women's program to the shared scholarships are available. And then lot of the programs are available. One, the British Marshall, the scholarships, which are pursuing for mainly for the research available, and then mainly through the Commonwealth facilities. And then lot of the awards awards through the Commonwealth citizens like India, and through the UK programs. And these are the exclusively for the UK Commonwealth programs are available for doing the your study, doing the research, and then senior research training and everything. You can go ahead through the scholarships and fellowships. So I think now we have seen elaborately what are the various funding, I mean, agencies available in India and abroad, but especially for the young researchers who want to do the further research. Now, next is how to prepare. So that is most important. Many of our scholars know they used to work, as I mentioned, hour long. But only the problem is to how to prepare a proposal. That is, I think, is a constraint for them. It's a difficult for them because of the foreign language. So I'm giving a tips to everyone assembled here how to prepare any postdoctoral fellowship program, any postdoctoral research, or the research associate fellowship, or a funding proposal, or foreign fellowship. For everything, they need a proposal. They need a proposal, a scheme how. A scheme for that. How to prepare a scheme or a proposal. That is most important. That is most important. And the proposal should be innovative informative, and this will be more important to the ultimately to the society. So that's why last in every aspects of the proposal you have to say that how relevant your research. That is most important. You have to write it in the last. How you will research will be benefited by the society or benefited to the society. That is most important. So altogether you have to prepare in a nutshell. It should not be a length of pages. It should be concise. It should be concise and then meaningful, precise, to clear about how to prepare your scheme of a proposal. Now, number one, background information. This is most important. So, which funding agency you wanted to apply? Before to apply to any funding agency, anything for your postdoctoral research or the senior fellowships or any the fellowships or awards or the funding to a research program, but first go to the agency and what is their the objectives, whether they fit into our area of research. If not, how you will be fit into their desire and their ambition and their vision and mission of the funding agency. That you have to, I think, clear. And before that you have to read twice and thrice of the funding agency, and then you have to prepare the proposal format according to the format given by the funding agency. You should not be of your own style. Every funding agency used to give their own format. You have to verbatim, you have to follow the funding agency format, and according to that, some may give the online format, some may ask you to prepare yourself giving the guidelines, but according to the I think the based on the preparation, the questionnaire they are given, you have to prepare. So the proposal format is most important. And then every agency they are given the trust areas list. You have to go that. And next, the investigators. So suppose you want to involve the other Suppose you want to involve the other countries' collaborators. Suppose you want to involve your colleague. Suppose you want to involve any leading scientists of the country or abroad. So I think you have to design that who are all the investigators. So normally for that they will give you who will be the principal investigator. Principal investigator, who will be the co-investigator. So that you have to decide. The co-investigator may be one or two or three. So it depends. So, but basically, one should be a principal, the investigator, and others should be a co-investigator. Similar way, you can involve any agencies, any laboratories, any universities, any colleges, any advanced research centers, collaborators. You have to choose, and then you have to involve them with the concurrence of the your department, with the concurrence approval of the university, and with the concurrence of your country. If it is a international project, you have to apply. So then you have to see that whether you can able to do the research in your department, your laboratory, what facilities available, what are the available infrastructure to carry out the research. So that you have to keep in mind for that, and then you have to ask for the budget. Budget should be, I think, again according to the category of the funding agencies. What is your requirements? Then the proposal format normally, how should be that? I'm giving just a general format. A general format, it should be introduction. Introduction should be specify the problem. Specify your what is the need of this present study. And then next is the your aim and objective of the your research problem or your research the project. So you limit 3 to 4 maximum your objectives. So what next is the current national international status. So what is the relevant area, I think so far developed in the India, and then context, and then international concept in related to your area. What just something like a literature survey what has been carrying out in India, within India and abroad in this proposed project. And methodology. So materials and methods, and then field, whether suppose it is a field for the humanities or the social related subjects, how you can. And if it is a lab investigator, give your methodology. Suppose survey project, you have to give the sampling size and etc. It is elaborate how far you are going to take in it, duplicate and triplicate our experiments in follow-up. And then time frame. So within a year or within 3 years or within 5 years, how you are going to make your objectives, 3 to 4 objectives in the phased manner. That is called the per chart activities. What activities you are going to do in every sequence of 6 months, that you have to give that. And then summary. Altogether, as I mentioned, expected contributions. What you are expected outcome from this project, what you are expecting. Whether you know that it may differ after some you are working in a project. But what you are expecting from that, it will be socially benefit to that through the R&D of your subject. And then what finally your budget. Budget should be minimum, it should not be extravagant, and what you require minimum should be given utilizing your own infrastructure available in our that starts from the manpower, staff, what you require, how many research scholars you required, how many technical staff you required, how much you required for involving the permanent equipment. You should not buy the same equipment what we have already in your department or already in your university. Only the essential equipments, that to the portable equipments, and then you can get the travel grant for that. And again, it depends on the funding agency. Some may give the international grants, some may not, but you have to give for the travel for all the 3 years. And then we can also get some fund for the overall, the head of the institution, we call it as the OH, the overhead for the institution. They provide for furniture, electricity, water supply, space. For that also they used to give 10% or 5%, depends upon the agency they used to give, because you are utilizing the facilities of your own department or the university. And in addition, they give some contingency for the contingency expenses like the the stationery, fuels, etc., etc., and they are giving the consumables for buying the small the glasswares, and then also for the chemicals is for the minor chemicals for the science oriented, and for the arts, humanities, etc., the tracing seals, data forms, and then the cartridges, ribbons, and related to the computer, etc. And then altogether, you have to justify the budget. You have to justify the budget. Why you require the particular the staff? Why you require the particular permanent equipment? How far the equipment will be useful to the their current research? And then why you require the travel grant this much amount? And then again the contingency for every consumables, for everything you have to give for your justification of the project. So altogether, this is the way that we have to prepare. Again, I'm telling you, my dear young scholars, you have to think of that depends on this format scheme given by the each funding agency. If I think this is the general the preparation of the a proposal or the scheme. So altogether, what to conclude that to attain our India to highest global standards among the top 100. I used to say that not even 200, top 100 global standards in quality education in terms of academic and then research in India we have to develop according to the new education policy. That's why we have to develop many model public universities for what? For holistic and multidisciplinary education and research, like on par with what? IITs and IIMs. So all the conventional the universities and colleges should develop as at least very equal to IITs. Why I am comparing IITs? Because I think some of the institutes are doing very good research in that. I am not degrading the universities, but even though we are doing here and there, but again we have to be make sure that IITs, and then also compared to the international the laboratories, for that what we wanted to develop the multidisciplinary education and research universities. So a focused multidisciplinary education and research universities should be developed in the next coming years or next coming decades. That will be main aim of our motto and focus. And then based on all the information what I mentioned altogether, it is the mindset of the young research. I appeal to the young researchers here. You have to, I think, use all the opportunities. That's why I have given the topic funding agencies are available, research fundings are available, opportunities are plenty. Opportunities are plenty. That's why I given the title research funding agencies and opportunities. Now opportunities are plenty in your hand, and this will definitely will help to set the highest standards for the multidisciplinary education across our India. I hope you are all enjoyed my lecture. Thank you for patient hearing. Good luck.